for rock music on Earth and the Daily Derringer podcast.
All right, Parksy, I'm coming at you hard today, buddy.
Okay.
Coming at you hard. We're going to talk books.
Oh, okay.
Yep, we're going to talk about books.
This is my kryptonite.
Yes, it certainly is. We should make it even more fun
I already feel weak.
than normally.
Oh, no.
So what we'll do is we're going to go through some of the greatest selling books of all time. And I'm going to give you hints as to each book. And you are going to guess what the book is.
Amazing.
Johnny, you ready to play along with this one?
Yeah, let's do it. I know I've read more than Ryan,
I think you have. What was the last book you read, Johnny?
but it was called Can I Keep My Jersey by a NBA journeyman who played for a whole bunch of teams. It was the 12th man on a lot of teams, and it was his ins and outs of being in the NBA DL and kind of making it in the NBA a little bit. It was fascinating to read. All he wanted to do was play basketball. It was a great read.
Nice.
I really enjoyed it.
My last book was The Outsiders in grade 8. Or was it Rumblefish in grade 7?
Okay, now I'm dead serious here.
Yeah.
Dead serious.
Yeah.
Like you're a bright guy.
Thank you.
You're a bright guy. You stay up to date with what's going on. We come in here every morning. You know what's happening in the world. Why do you not spend a moment? Like, what is it with reading? Because I love it so much. We have so much in common.
Yes.
But the one thing, we love the same TV shows.
Yep.
We love the same movies. We love the same sports. We are on the same wavelength on so many things in life, except books.
I think I have the answer. I do enjoy books in theory. Like, I love the escape, and I understand when people say the book is way better than the movie, because you let your brain go and you picture the characters the way you want to do it. I love that part of it. My problem is, one, I get very tired. Like, my eyes get tired, and I start to fall asleep when I read, even in the middle of the day. And two, my brain wanders too much, where I'll be like, I think I just read a chapter and I really didn't take any of it in. It doesn't stick to me. I can't concentrate that much on it. Where like a television show, I can just figure it out. Where it's a book, it's a lot on you to do. But when I do find a book, we talked on the radio show earlier about this Wallander series. And what happened was I was in the Halifax airport, and this is before iPhones really came out. That's how pathetic it is with my reading. And I was looking for a book, and the woman who worked in the bookstore is like you, passionate. And she loves to talk about books. And I said, I want to start reading, but I don't know what I like. And she said, well, what television shows do you like? And I jokingly said, but I'm serious, that I love the show Columbo. I love detective whodunit books, or television shows. And she says, I got one for you. It's about this character named Wallander, and he's a Swedish. Anyways, I read it, like the first half of it, and I was like, this is awesome. And I was so into it. And then I put it down, and I never picked it back up again.
So, the last book you actually read in its entirety was pre-iPhone, which I believe was 2007.
Okay, the actual last book I read was Da Vinci Code, which is probably that time. I actually did finish that book. That's probably, 2007, would you say?
Yeah.
Definitely iPhones were
I
not
think it
around.
might have been a little earlier.
Whoa.
For me, I like reading. I'm not in love with it. I do enjoy books, obviously that I like. I found for me, it was really hard to get into it because the books that they made you read in school, I think were just a little bit above me. I didn't really understand. I found the stories not to be that engaging.
Like the chrysalids.
Yeah, which took stuff like that, exactly.
Yes.
And it took me a long time to find books that I really enjoyed.
Okay, I'm going to give you a little piece of trivia.
Oh, God. I'm honestly embarrassed already.
All right, so next month
Oh, God.
will be my 16th anniversary. Okay? 16 years I've been with my wife, Charlene.
Okay.
The month that we got married, April 2003, was the month that the Da Vinci Code came out.
It's even further back.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my God.
So you have not, think about it, I have a 15-year-old daughter. You have not read a book since before now assuming that you read it when it came out.
It was before the movie came out.
Okay.
It was when everyone was talking about it.
Well, let's go with 0304.
So in Madison's lifespan, I haven't read since then.
Correct. Okay, so this should be
Oh my.
this should be
So I'm going to fail this test.
correct.
Okay.
So there are a couple of books that are at the top of every list, but because they are generally not dealt with on a regular retail level, we're not going to include them. And there would be the Bible, which is not only one of, along with Mao's Red Book, because of the size of China and the population, one would understand how many copies of the Red Book there would be out there. But when it comes to the Bible, also the most stolen book.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's a good book.
Hotel rooms or Okay, so this is a list, and it comes from bestlifeonline.com. This is a list of the best-selling novels of all time. Okay, best-selling. So, well, look, we're not going to give you trivia or ask you to come up with answers on trivia on obscure books. Okay, so both of you guys, Johnny, you feel free to participate, and you may really end up feeling good about yourself.
All right.
By the end of this. Okay, so number one, they have this book published in 1612. There are still songs written about the title character. It is still referenced from time to time. Has apparently sold 500 million copies. And as a matter of fact, the title character has become a word in the English language. That word is quixotic.
Quixotic. The
Quixotic.
guy's name is Quixotic.
No, but the word quixotic comes from his name.
Okay.
He tilted at windmills. When tilting came from jousting at windmills. Windmills freaked him right out.
Okay.
And he believed that chivalry will never die.
That book title is called, I think I might have it,
Okay?
War and Peace. Yes?
Okay. Oh, okay. I look at you with disdain.
Yes.
But I also don't know the answer, but I know it's not War and Peace. I'm not sure. I don't
You guys
know.
roll for one.
Is he Russian?
No, he's not Russian. He is Spanish.
Oh, is it Cyrano de Bergerac?
No. Bergerac, not Spanish.
Why are you laughing at me, Ryan? Because
I
honestly,
hope this starts a fight.
I honestly think you're going to be as bad as me. That's
Miguel de Cervantes was the author. No? Okay, so you get 0 points
Okay.
for Don Quixote.
Oh,
Quixotic, because the X is Quixote, quixotic.
he didn't like windmills?
Tilted at windmills. Didn't know what they were. They freaked him out. Hey, this, number two, this book was released in 1859. They say has sold 200 million copies. You know the name of the author. I'll tell you that.
Okay.
You know the name of the author. This book starts with one of the most famous opening lines in literary history. It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
That is Wuthering Heights.
Wrong.
Oh,
John Garbutt.
That's War and Peace.
No, that is not War and Peace.
That's so familiar. Like that is Shakespeare?
The title refers to
Hamlet.
London and Paris.
Oh, yeah. Tale of Two Cities. Right up in your
Okay,
face.
That's okay.
I wouldn't be too proud. It's not like you just scored
Yeah.
a beautiful overtime goal
It's all right.
with a hot dangle in Game 7. Okay, this one, number 3, all-time greatest selling books. You know this guy. You know his name. You certainly know his work. The book was released in 1954, but has been an immensely popular movie franchise in the last 15 years.
Oh, is that the Lord of the Rings?
Johnny Garbutt ties it up. Tie for Garbutt,
I was going to
yes.
say Bond.
Yeah.
I was going to say like Dr. No or something.
No, that is not. Okay, this one, 120 million copies sold since it came out in 1997. Also, a very famous movie franchise.
Harry Potter.
Johnny Garbutt takes
You know
the
what?
lead.
Because you know movies.
Oh, okay.
Lead the lead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Those are big books too, I heard. like they're good.
They're meant for children. What do you mean they're big books?
No, but like there's a lot of pages.
Oh my God.
Man.
All right, you ready to go?
Yep.
All right. This one, this lady who wrote this was one of the best-selling authors in her lifetime. This one came out in 1939. Ryan Parker.
Tennessee Williams. No, that's not him.
What's not the name of the book?
No.
Lady.
Yeah.
Lady.
But she's got a guy's name. She just died. 100% I know it.
No, you're wrong.
You know what I'm thinking about?
You're thinking about. I think I know who you're thinking.
I'm thinking it's a movie
Okay,
and a
hold
thing.
on.
with
Is
the-
it kind of like a
rapes
crime
rats
kind
or
of thing?
whatever.
Is it a crime novel book kind of thing?
Yes, as a matter of fact, it is.
Okay.
Come on, Johnny. You can do this.
Is it a great women's first name?
Yes, it is.
Is it Agatha Christie?
Johnny Garbutt, 3-1. You're thinking of Harper Lee,
Thank
Ryan
you.
Parker, with To Kill a
Kill a
Mockingbird.
Mockingbird.
Yes,
Thank you.
indeed. Not
Man.
so far on the list. We're talking books today, something we never thought we'd do on this podcast. This one, 1937 it came out. This is the first 2-time member of the top 10.
Don Quixote too?
No. No, it is not Don Quixote 2. No, he's already been on the list once for one of his books, movie franchise. This is another
R.R.
one.
Tolkien. J.R.R. Tolkien.
And what's it called?
Johnny, over to you, pal.
The Hobbit.
Yes. Johnny, 4-1. 4-1. This is going to be a beatdown.
Yes.
Number 9 on the list. This one came out the final year of the U.S. Civil War, 1865, although it did not come from the United States. British gentleman named Lewis Carroll.
Yes, Oliver Twist. Winnie the Pooh.
Wow.
Oh my God! What is it? White Christmas.
You're so not even close. No.
Oh, no. Not Winnie the Pooh, with the other one. The yellow bear with the honey. No?
The yellow bear with the honey.
Well, that is Winnie the Pooh.
I would know Winnie the
That is
Pooh.
Winnie the Pooh.
Sorry,
yeah.
That is not correct.
Oh my
What was
God.
your first answer? Your first answer was spectacular.
For that one?
Yeah.
I don't even remember. Don Quixote too?
No, it was after that.
Oh my God.
This guy, this one, still movies are made of this quite often. Sold 100 million copies. One of the best children's novels in the history of literature, according to many. But a weird story.
Oh, Peter Pan.
Johnny?
It's
Any book lover is going to be just howling right now listening to you, by the way.
okay.
Lewis Carroll, right?
Lewis was a weirdo.
Okay.
Put it this way. Lewis was a weirdo, and this story is weird.
Yeah.
This is a
I
weird
know.
story.
Is it? I'm trying to
Yes.
remember the name of the title.
Think of White Rabbit
Yeah.
by the Jefferson Airplane.
Alice in Wonderland?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes.
That's another point.
I'm leaving. I've left out a couple here that are like not known in North America.
Ooh, if we can't get these, there's no way we're getting those.
Oh, by the way, we never did do the one by you mentioned Agatha Christie. It was And Then There Were None.
I wouldn't.
Which was also known as like 10 Little Indians, and Then There Were None is what they were called. Here's another one. And this is one, I like all books, but this one I always just found a little odd. But needless to say, I am apparently in the minority here because it's been huge, and part of the series by C.S. Lewis. And I think of weird drawings, weird characters. 3 things in the title.
3 things.
Oh, is it the Lion, the Witch, with the Wardrobe?
Johnny Garbutt, just a beat down. This is a
Thank
beat
you.
down, Parker.
How you like it,
Okay.
a Little Beaver?
I'm going to tee one up for you, though, buddy.
Yes.
I'm teeing up this next one.
Do it.
This one came out in April of 2003.
Da Vinci Code.
Yes.
Yes.
That sold 80 million copies, eh?
And remember the other author, the guy who wrote the book, and Oprah teed off on him because it was all BS?
Oh, yeah.
My wife read that book.
Yeah, I remember that.
Remember,
one.
that was a juggernaut of a book,
Yeah.
too.
A Million Little Things?
Something like that. And it was
Yeah.
about drugs, and he
Yeah.
didn't take, because he was a drug addict, and he didn't take pills when he went to the dentist. And then, remember Oprah, blew him up
Yeah, it turned out to be.
and then chopped him
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
Yeah.
You don't want to be on the receiving end of the scythe of Oprah.
Oh, no.
All right, this is a book that I think, certainly used to be read in school. I don't know if it was anymore. Just an amazing character, a young man, his struggle to find his life in an adult world. Johnny Garbutt?
Is it Huck Finn?
No, it is not.
Catcher in the Rye.
John Garbutt loses to Ryan Parker on that one.
Holden Caulfield.
That's the one. You actually read this, didn't you?
That book I loved in high school.
He had quite the attitude on it.
Yeah,
didn't he?
that was a great book.
But unfortunately, it got co-opted by serial killers
Yes.
and mass murderers, and that's always that's never good for business. As we've said before, we don't agree that all publicity is good publicity. This book, and this is now, and I've gone through, left out a bunch of them because I know that they'd just be impossible to get. But these are the best-selling books of all time. Few more for you here. This one has sold 60 million copies, although it has spawned so many different stories. This is the original 12-part, so there were shorter stories all put together in this compendium in 1887. When you think of Victorian detectives, this is the guy that comes to mind. Recent movies?
Sherlock Holmes.
Correct.
Thank you. I gotta be catching up.
Who
now.
wrote them?
Yep. Can you give me his initials?
Arthur Conan Doyle.
Perfect.
Okay, here's when I read this. I reread this book a couple of months ago. Terrific story about a professor named Professor
Gilligan's
Maranath.
Island.
Gilligan's Island, the original TV screen treatment. I read the elevator pitch. Professor Aronnax is the main character. They go out looking for a sea monster, but end up underwater. The author had such phenomenal vision of the future, not only with this one, but with a number of his other stories that included one about a volcano to the center of the earth, one to the moon, and this one under the sea.
20,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Correct.
Really? How many copies did that sell?
60 million.
Really?
Written in 1870, and it's a great story.
I never thought it was that popular. I always knew about it, but I didn't think it was that big of a book.
No, features a Canadian character too, Ned Land, who was a boy. But Jules Verne had this just, maybe Around the World in 80 Days, still the best known, and that's been made into a ton of movies. Just an amazing story for the imagination. Just terrific. 20,000 Leagues, by the way, Under the Sea. The leagues is the distance, not the depth. Just in case you're wondering.
Okay.
That they traveled. Were you guys up for one more?
Yeah,
here?
man, because I know it's coming.
Okay, so this one there's a musical hint for you. 1955, this one came out, and it has sold 50 million copies. The professor in the story has one of the great literary names, Humbert Humbert.
Come on.
Humbert Humbert was his name. He falls in love with a very young lady named Dolores.
Yes.
The Police song, Don't Stand So Close to Me, refers to this.
They made a couple movies about this.
Mm-hmm.
Leota or something.
Close.
Yeah.
Lolita.
Lolita. Yes. Yeah.
Lolita. And that book by Nabokov as well, though. Lolita.
That's right. Nabokov's in the sun.
That is.
Yeah.
That
Okay,
book by
now I know.
Nabokov. Vladimir Nabokov and Lolita.
I'm surprised my all-time favorite book's not on the list.
Which one is that?
Call Me Ishmael. Moby Dick. Love that book.
Yeah, well, you know what? That's I don't disagree.
And Huck Finn.
I'm surprised that both of those are not on here. Final book on the list, and this is the top 30 selling novels of all time, a Canuck. As a matter of fact, there's a museum dedicated to the lady who wrote these stories north of Toronto, although they take place in Prince Edward Island.
Every game of
Johnny for the victory.
You know what?
Johnny,
Yeah.
big win.
Yeah.
Yes, Lucy Maud Montgomery, Anne of Green Gables, sold 50 million.
Not a girl.
Ooh-wee.
Big numbers. Big numbers.
So, not surprisingly, you went down
Yeah.
at the hands of our new reigning champ, Garbsy.
You know I'm not going to do it, but for fun, if I was to have to read one of those books, because I know you've probably read them all, what would you suggest? Don Quixote's?
Yeah, maybe. I know you'd love the adventures of Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah.
I would reread The Catcher in the Rye.
Yes.
I love I love Jules Verne. I'm just generally not huge on science fiction, but there's something about Jules Verne and just his visions into the future. It's not like this guy was a seer, but he described a working submarine in 1870
Before it happened.
Yeah,
Wow.
and
I think you've reread more books than I've read.
For sure.
I like to. There's certain books that I can go back. Okay, I'm going to tell you one, and I am waiting so desperately for this guy's next book to come out. One of my favorite fiction books of all time is by a guy named Terry Hayes, and Terry Hayes wrote a book. I'm going to say 7 or 8 years ago, called I Am Pilgrim, and I Am Pilgrim, 2013. So yeah, 6 years ago. I Am Pilgrim. I reread for the third time. It's like a spy operative thing, but it is so incredibly well written. And about once a month, I go on to Amazon to see if they have a release date for his next book called The Year of the Locust, and they still don't. But if you enjoy that sort of thing, I Am Pilgrim is so good, so awesome. This guy's well known as a writer for movies. He did like Vertical Limit and Payback. Remember that?
Yeah, Mel Gibson, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also there was Mad Max. He did as well. So this guy's been around for a while. But I Am Pilgrim, one of the best fiction books I've ever read.
Nice.
So there you go, boys.
Daily Derringer